The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was a cacophony of voices, ambassadors and envoys from across the galaxy exchanging words in a multitude of languages, their conversations echoing through the massive domed chamber. The noise was abruptly silenced as the Chamberlain, a towering figure from the leonine species, a lion-like humanoid with a flowing golden mane and piercing emerald eyes, struck his mighty gavel against the podium. "Order," he commanded, his voice booming with authority, instantly capturing the attention of all present. Standing tall, the Chamberlain surveyed the room. "Esteemed delegates of the Galactic Council, we are gathered here today for a momentous occasion, one that concerns the newest arrivals to our galaxy, the Terran Alliance. It is for this reason that the humans stand before us today," he announced, his words reverberating through the chamber. "The chair recognizes the delegations from the Terran Alliance, the Draken Union, and the Zarian Empire." The human delegation, clearly nervous, exchanged uneasy glances. This was the first time humanity had been invited to the Council's chambers, and the significance of the moment was not lost on them. Among the group were 2 men, 1 woman, and a child. The first man, a 27-year-old engineer from Earth, was flanked by a grizzled 57-year-old admiral from Mars. The woman, a 25-year-old communications officer from Europa, held the hand of her 6-year-old niece, who gazed around the room with wide eyes. "The chair now recognizes the senator from the Zarian Empire," the Chamberlain declared, striking the gavel once more. The Zarians, tall and slender humanoids with pale blue skin and 3 glowing eyes, rose to speak. "Thank you," the Zarian senator began, his voice smooth and measured. "As we are all aware, just 5 cycles ago, our empire made first contact with humanity. Reports have been shared, but allow me to summarize. One of our frontier worlds was under attack by the 4-Lock swarm when, out of nowhere, human ships appeared in the system. Without hesitation, they engaged the swarm, repelling the invaders and saving millions of lives. Without their intervention, the swarm would have overrun our defenses and launched further assaults deep into our territory." A murmur spread through the assembly, the impact of the senator's words rippling across the delegates. Not only did humanity save our colony, but they also assisted in the repairs and medical aid without asking for anything in return. Furthermore, they proceeded to neutralize 4-Lock colonies, effectively eliminating the threat to our worlds. The Zarian senator paused, his gaze sweeping across the assembly. "It is with great pride that the Zarian Empire formally endorses the Terran Alliance for full membership in the Galactic Council," the senator's voice rang out, filled with conviction. The chamber erupted in a mix of surprise and approval. The human delegation exchanged astonished looks. This was not what they had expected. The Chamberlain struck the gavel again, calling for order. "The Zarian Empire has made its position clear. Do we have a second?" Nearly half the room raised their hands in agreement, no hands were raised in opposition. The Chamberlain nodded, seemingly satisfied. "The chair now recognizes the delegation from the Draken Union." The Draken, a species of towering armored reptilians with hardened scales and fierce yellow eyes, took the floor. "Fellow delegates, we stand on the brink of a new era. In just 5 cycles, humanity has achieved what many of us have struggled with for centuries. Their technological progress and military prowess are unmatched." The Draken delegates' words sparked a wave of concern, whispers of uncertainty sweeping through the chamber. "We have witnessed the sheer power of their weaponry, a corvette equipped with kinetic bombardment capabilities that could punch through the hull of our strongest battle cruisers." A murmur of fear and awe rippled through the room. It is clear that humanity's strength is growing rapidly. Some fear they will turn their might against us when they no longer find us useful. However, the Draken Union believes that the best way to ensure our safety is to welcome them as allies, not adversaries. The delegates' words were met with a mix of reactions, some nodding in agreement, others still wary. The Chamberlain struck the gavel once more. "The Draken Union has declared its support. Do we have any opposition?" None dared raise their hand. The Chamberlain nodded. "By order of this council, I hereby call a vote. All in favor of humanity joining the Galactic Council, raise your hands now." Every hand shot up, not a single delegate abstaining. It was an unprecedented moment in the Council's history. "Congratulations, humans," the Chamberlain announced. "By unanimous vote, you have been granted full membership in the Galactic Council, the first time such a decision has been made in nearly 1,000 years." The human delegation erupted in joy, tears of relief and happiness streaming down their faces. But the Chamberlain wasn't done. He raised a hand, signaling for silence. "We have questions," he said, his tone shifting to one of curiosity. The humans exchanged puzzled looks. "Questions?" the young engineer asked. "Yes," the Chamberlain replied, a smirk playing on his lips. "We've heard rumors about your species' peculiar habits and unique biology. Before we proceed with official matters, some of our delegates have a few curiosities they'd like addressed." The first to speak was the delegate from the Iranians, a species of squid-like beings with glowing tentacles. "We have heard tales of something called a boop on the snoot. Could you explain what this means?" The communications officer, suppressing a laugh, picked up her niece and gently tapped the girl's nose with her finger. "Boop," she said, causing the child to giggle uncontrollably. "It's just a playful gesture we use to show affection, especially to those we find cute." The Iranians seemed momentarily stunned, their tentacles glowing brighter in what could only be described as confusion. One of them fainted on the spot, overwhelmed by the sight. Next, the delegate from the giant collective, a race of insectoid beings, spoke up. "We've heard that humans can consume a substance called capsaicin, which is deadly to most species. Is this true?" The engineer reached into his pack and pulled out a bright red pepper. "You mean this?" he asked before taking a bite and chewing it with satisfaction. "Delicious. Nothing like a good spicy kick to wake you up in the morning." The giant delegate recoiled in horror, their antennae twitching uncontrollably. This human had just ingested a substance that could wipe out half the species present, and was enjoying it. The next question came from the heron, a gelatinous species that floated above the ground. "Is it true that humans consume alcohol, a substance known to be highly toxic?" Without hesitation, the admiral produced a flask of whiskey. "You bet we do," he said, taking a swig and letting out a contented sigh. The sensors in the room immediately registered the alcohol as a hazardous substance, causing several delegates to shrink back in fear. Finally, the Wiri, an avian species with sharp talons and keen eyesight, asked, "Is it true that humans eat chocolate, a substance harmless to some but fatal to others?" The officer unwrapped a chocolate bar and handed it to her niece, who devoured it happily before curling up for a nap. The sight caused one of the Wiri to faint, overwhelmed by the realization that this small human child had just consumed something that could be a deadly poison to others. The Chamberlain, sensing the growing unease, decided to wrap things up. "We've heard tales of your home world, Earth, classified as a class 4 death world. Can you confirm this?" The Admiral simply sent a video to the entire assembly, a montage of Earth's most extreme natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanoes, and more. The delegates watched in stunned silence, realizing that the humans had evolved in an environment more hostile than anything they had ever encountered. The meeting was adjourned as medics were called in to tend to the fainted and panicked delegates. Humanity's place in the Galactic Council was secured, but it was clear that the other species would treat them with newfound respect, and a healthy dose of caution, from that day forward.